Hey guys, once again, it's Dave from Dave's Dimension. Now, I've been telling you in a few videos I made a mention of a Flux Pac. Well, you might be wondering, what is a Flux Pac? It's a proton pack Ghostbusters mashup with one of my favorite movies of all time, next to Ghostbusters, of course, and that's Back to the Future. Now, last year I did my first attempt at a cosplay, even before attempting any kind of ghost busting, because I was meeting Christopher Lloyd, the Doc from Back to the Future. So I said, what can I do? So I created a Marty McFly kind of Ghostbuster mashup, and this is the pack I did. I started with the Spirit Pack, and I came up with this. This is my Flux Pack. Well, Flux Pack version 2.0. I made a few modifications since then. I basically took a Spirit shell, spray painted it chrome, did a couple coats, and what I did was took some scouring pads, did some rubbing so it looks worn in some places, it's not as shiny and chrome in others. Now, this is my first attempt at building anything, my first attempt at a prop of any kind. So, I'm going to go over everything here. So, after I did the chrome, I bought some LED wires, like the battery kind you buy on Amazon, and I wired them through the hose. I started putting one inside here and just wrapped it around. And this actually is part of an oxygen hose. An old oxygen hose I had because I'm an asthmatic. An old nebulizer, so I took the hose off, glued it onto the clipper. So it looks like it's actually part of the pack's operation. I added this tube. I call it my Fusion slime filter. And I did the Flux Bar, which is the actual light up parts of the DeLorean before it travels through time. This is what it's called. It's called Flux Bar. Again, I took the old oxygen hose I had, put a little metal wire like from a hanger inside, spray painted it silver, took some old screen mesh over the LED bar. This is just the same type of LED like I used here. Wrapped it around. I did a lot of hot glue on here. I know it's not the cleanest looking, but if you were Doc Brown and you wanted to be a Ghostbuster, everything would be slapped together just like it was in the car. Now, bought some hobby parts here, and then I got this. This is actually a Mr. Fusion USB charger that I cannibalized all the electronics out of and connected it directly into here. It actually opens right up. Now, of course, I had the basic labels here. I didn't do any special faux welds on here like I have on my other pack. I will be doing it on here. Now, again, I did the reflective caution tape that you see me doing on a lot of my stuff. I like that. I even did some more labeling here. ELB for Emmett L. Brown, Flux Pac version 2. I know the ribbon's not the greatest. And yes, I do have a flux capacitor on here. This was actually from a Yahtzee game I got from Amazon. On the back of it, this opens up and there's a switch. I'm doing this without even looking. But basically what happens is this will shake when this shakes. So when you're walking around naturally with it, it'll shake and the vibrations kick on the lights. Can't find the switch without looking. There we go. So just by shaking around, it's going to keep lighting up. Now, This is the spirit wand. And I did a little something extra. I threw some hockey tape on here to add a little color and a little difference to it, to give it a little bit of flavor. Now this is a spirit kit. Put flux on here, a Y for the flux capacitor. But this is basically a spirit wand that I did the Sponge Face McGee on eBay, his light kit and cosmetic kits. So it looks like a regular barrel. It has all the attachments on here. I did some weathering on here, of course. Now the reason why there's this big chunk here, I had a Buster Props V-hook. Unfortunately, it cracked a couple times, and I had some epoxy on here, so I couldn't really get the piece off, but it worked out in my favor because once I put the regular V-hook on here, it actually gives it kind of a spacer so I can reach and draw it without any troubles. Because that's one issue a lot of people have with the spirits, is the wand is so close it's kind of hard to draw. This makes it a little bit easier. Now, if you're not familiar with the spirit upgrade kit that Sponge Face has, now the way I currently have it set, bottom toggle up, top toggle down. Now, you might be wondering, so what does this Fusion slime filter do? I've had people at a couple cons ask me, how do you trap ghosts? Do you send them to another time? No, I don't. The way the Mr. Fusion, the flux capacitor, and the filter works, in theory, I am capturing a ghost with the stream, and the flux capacitor is weakening that ghost to an earlier point in its time stream when it first became a ghost, making it easier to catch. So that's the concept. I'm not zapping it to another time because, let's be honest, if you zap it to another time, that makes it someone else's problem. So taking a massive spectral entity, encasing it in a proton stream, and the flux capacitor then is creating a little rip in time that basically returns that ghost to when it first became a ghost, when it was a weak little ghost like Slimer, making it much easier for one person to catch. So this is my Flux Pac. Pieces from Harbor Freights, Home Depot, and a lot of imagination. You know, I know some people aren't fans of crossovers, but you got to have a little fun. I mean, who isn't a fan? Who hasn't done, hey, wouldn't it be cool if this happened and this happened? Well, this is exactly it. In fact, I remember some fan fiction from back in the late 90s. I'm that old. Someone wrote a couple stories where, Ray Stans mentions about working in the private sector, that he came across a Dr. Brown. So if they ever teamed up, this is what they would come up with. Hope you guys like this. I do have other attachments that I've worn with this. I've gotten a time circuit display from Etsy that I actually Velcro and connect to here via some extra wiring and cables that I have. But I hope you guys like the Flux Pac. And in fact, if you like the Flux Pac and you want to see more mashups with Ghostbusters, I'm actually part of a Facebook group called Ghostbusters Fusion. So go on Facebook, just type in Ghostbusters Fusion. I'm going to throw a link in below. Like the page, check out some of the packs. There have been some awesome creative cosplays. The founder, Whitney, she does an awesome Lydia Dietz Ghostbuster. There's a few others who have done, there's a gentleman on there who has done a War Machine Ghostbuster. There's been Hellraiser Ghostbuster crossovers. You'd be amazed. Take a few minutes, check it out. It's an awesome page. And once again, this has been Dave from Dave's Dimension, showing my Flux Pac 2.0. And if you have any questions about this, where some of the parts came from, what I used, just leave a comment below in this comment section. And as always, subscribe and hit that bell if you want to follow more videos in my journey ghostbusting and working with different props and doing some other geek reviews. One more thing. This filter was just a rubber tube I got from Home Depot, and I stringed some LED lights in here. Now, I used some some LED lights that are on a adhesive strip. I covered it up with caution tape here. And if you're wondering what's inside, that's just hair gel. I bought some dollar store hair gel, filled it in. The LED lights, I can change them to any color. So there's a lot of Ghostbusters out there who've added like little slime filters onto their packs. That's one thing you can do. You can always make your own slime. But until next time, this has been Dave from Dave's Dimension, and I'll catch you on the other side.